now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio.
What's the word, people? Happy holidays. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Brandon in the house tonight, basically to celebrate one of my homeboys who basically started the show with me almost 13 years ago. Actually, yeah, roughly around 13 years ago or whatnot. I had a chance to catch this man, watch this man elevate, his career, not just as a musician, but also an artist. And just to be able to see him wanting to put his music out there for the listeners, we're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to get into some of his artwork. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the music industry in general as far as the evolution of it, how it's changed, how you market your brand. We're going to talk about that. But before I put Will on, I'm going to put Denia on in a second. But I want to thank everybody once again, all the people out there that have supported the station via Blog Talk, people who can download this now via at Chromecast, at Apple Podcasts, also iHeartRadio, also the people out there that is listening throughout the United States and overseas. The downloads have been still tremendous. And there's a lot going on with what's in store with 2021, and I appreciate all the people out there who is transitioning. And it's going to be a good show because I get a chance to catch up with, someone who's my homeboy's family, basically. But I'm going to put Denia on because I'm sure Denia will have questions for this young man as well. Denia, what's up, girl? Happy holidays.
What's good? Oh, my goodness. I was like, wait. I'm like, this isn't nice that Will is coming on. We just got a radio family coming through the building. I love it. I love it. Will's like original OG. Like, 13 years ago, basically, November, December was when, in 2007 was when Will first started calling into the show, and then he became a fan favorite. And, the old days of me, Philly, and Will was on, we was doing shows literally since 2007. And, here we are, 2020, and, he still, he still got passion for music, and he still got passion for his art, and it's going to be cool to be able to kind of talk to him about it and stuff like that. So I want everybody to follow my man on Instagram, social media, all things. Just Google and search WillSexyLove. You can follow him on IG right now, at WillSexyLove. You can also follow his art page, The Art of Will, TheArtOfWill. Basically, I'm just gonna read his bio on his thing. Will Sexy Love. He's the Art of Will. He's the R&B dragon. He's Will Sexy Love, certified kickboxing instructor, singer songwriter, and one of the good people I know from the bottom of my heart. WSL, aka Will Sexy Love in the building. Nexxlegacy Radio. Welcome home, bro.
What's up, man? How you doing? What's up? How's everybody doing? Glad to be back in the house. Feels like it's been too long. Right. I mean, I've dropped in a few times, but
it's been a minute. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Staying productive,
That's good. I'm glad to be back here with actual product, music. Something people can listen to. Getting my feet wet again.
We gonna talk about that in a minute because people out there that's checking Will out. You could definitely go hit up Amazon Music, Spotify, hit up Dreamland. We're gonna play that a little later too. But Will, not only welcome back, but I mean this is kind of like a comeback in a sense, but in a lot of ways, it's just kind of like your reintroduction to the music and entertainment world. So my question out of the gate, I got to put on the interview hat first off, because we family. I can talk to you about whatever. But what made you get the itch to be able to put your product out there for the people?
I've never really stopped wanting to do music. When I call it my little hiatus that I took for a little while. It's just the things have changed, and the internet has changed, Facebook has changed, Instagram, all that. It's not what it was years ago. It's more ways that you can. It's more ways that you can promote yourself, get yourself out there now than what it was years ago. With that being said, it's pros and cons to everything. I've experienced in the past couple of years the cons of the change as well as the pros. And the cons is that with the social media platform in general now, the way everything works, you have to be willing to be able to put a lot of time and money into what you're doing. And for me, again, I've just never lost the passion for it. I think I kind of lost my way for a little bit, and actually being able to get up and go to work or go into a grocery store and have some people still be interested in your music and ask you when's the next time you're going to put something out. That's what kind of actually pushed me more to it, to put out music, because I've been afraid to for the last couple of years. Because I always, Brandon, as you already know me, you've had this conversation plenty of times. I've always felt that my music was not really up to par, because I've always struggled and tried to be better than or to put out better product than what I used to. And that's been one of my biggest flaws, is that I paid too much attention to trying to crank out the perfect track or perfect record that it kind of made me backslide a little bit and kind of retreat more into, because you're your own worst critic, period. You are your own worst critic. And believe me, I am my own worst critic, like hands down. I don't think I can get, there's anybody out there who can criticize me more than I can criticize myself. And I think that is and has been my biggest flaw. And I hope I answered your question. I know I got off there going on something else for a minute, but yeah.
Nah, I like when you do, because I start thinking about other stuff. Too. Come on, Will. I know you long enough to know if I need to cut in, then I'll cut in. But I like hearing you talk, because because I know you for as long as I've known you, over 10 years. I know I know your struggles, and I also know your resistance in a lot of ways. It's not necessarily just being your best or your worst critic, excuse me, or whatever. I feel like there's got to be a different. I always saw you as a kind of artist where there's, I got to have a good marketing plan. If I have a good marketing plan, then maybe I could be able to kind of tap into the ideas and the fan bases of other people. And I saw you do that earlier when you stretched out that video for Want You. Still dope video. Think about it, Will. Like, if you got a song that people could still kind of relate to and or sing to. I'm not saying I'm a singer, but I know when I get in my car, I can listen to it, and I know the words and shit like that, right? So if I could do that still after all this time for the release, then that means you got, like, something. You know what I mean? So as I continue this conversation, my next question to you is, you never went away from it. It's just more of like, okay, let me sit back and try to figure out this thing. So now that you did, how comfortable are you now putting your catalog out there for the people?
I think I'm more comfortable now than I was before. The past couple of years, I think I've sort of found who I am as an artist, and it's kind of weird to say, but it's true, because there's so many talents out there. There's so many talented musicians and artists out there that you look up to, that you want to be like, but you have to remember that you're not them. You have to be you. And again, that was one of my biggest problems that I struggled with internally. Is like I've always wanted to be like I'm gonna say Mario, because he's still one of my favorites. He was big back in the early 2000s, whatever. Or Usher. I love their voices when they sing, and again, one of my biggest problems was that I always thought that my voice was not good enough, even though people always tell me different. But I've come to a place now where, and it's taken a long time for me to get here. I've come to a place now where I'm more comfortable with my sound and what I do, and I have to remember and always to tell myself that I'm unique. I'm a unique artist, and I'm not really trying to be like someone else. When I said that I was trying to sound like or be like someone else earlier, what I mean when I say that is like I'm trying to imitate what they're doing, but make it my own thing. But I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of artist. Like I just have to really do me, and realize that me doing me is fine, and not be ashamed of fully putting myself into my music and letting that side of me out and letting my guard down in that way to let people into my head, into my world, letting them hear my thoughts and my sounds and, how I think of things, how I look at love, and how I, see a chick walk down the street and I want to talk to her and spit game, do it my way, but with a different sort of taste to it. And of course, Branded's been up my ass, and along with a lot of other people who've been telling me, because Branded, like I'm telling y'all, like for real, I'm pretty sure I've gotten on his nerves because he is one of the people that have been telling me for the past, I'm gonna say 5 or 6 years that Brandon's always like, Will, we gonna drop that song. Go ahead and release it, man. Will, what you doing? Like, go ahead and release the song. Like, what you waiting for? I'm like, and this is me. I'm like, nah, man. Like, I don't like it. And Brandon actually, this is what he said to me one time on the phone. I really think I got on his nerves this time when I was talking to him. He said, man, fuck Will, man. You just need to go ahead and put this shit out there, let the people hear it, and then move on to some new shit. And I was like, yeah, I want to, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And what he doesn't know is...
Can I jump in?
Go ahead.
Can I jump in? Because I do remember the conversation, and it wasn't more like in irritation. It was more of I felt like you were handcuffing your music because you are a gifted artist. You are a gifted artist of music. You are a gifted artist of art. So I feel like the years that you have had, your catalog should be like, you should have like a catalog of mixtapes. This is just me thinking outside, because to me, I think every artist is going to go about their way doing what they do, and that's all respect. But I always felt like you had enough of your early day catalog to be out there for the people, but to each his own for the most part. And I do remember that because I'm like, and I look at it in a sense of, I want to hear it because I'm a fan first. You know what I mean? You may be my little brother, but I'm a fan of your music. So I'm like, damn, if I'm a fan of it, I'm sure Denia might be a fan of it. I'm sure Baby Girl might be a fan of it. I'm sure strangers might be a fan of it. So they need to get that whole WillSexyLove experience. No pun intended. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. To the point where Will, it's just, to me, I always felt like you should be that guy that's out there. And then I'm going to ask you a little bit about marketing, because therein lies the issue that I feel with today's world nowadays. Because me telling you all the stuff I told you 5-6 years ago probably still would be, I would still be on the fence if I look back at it, because marketing is changed now. The way radio works has changed now. The way that people promote their music has changed now. Was it like it 5-6 years ago? I feel like personally it got worse. I don't think it got better. It got worse in the standpoint of this. For this reason, it got worse because I don't feel like people appreciate the value of the time and the effort and the talent that people put into music like they once did, and that's probably why I struggle with it from time to time too, which is the reason why you struggle with it from time to time, right? So my question to you is marketing, how your brand will be not just remembered, but how your brand will live on. how do you feel about the arena now of marketing your music now that you have full control over it, and now that, you know, the people out there is pretty much going to, you know, not just you, but going to dictate, like, you know, how things are going to progress?
Man, I would like to leave behind a lasting legacy of good music. I really would. That's what I'm going to do, period. You just have to know how right now, man, it's like, because you're right when you say it got worse. It's pros and cons to everything, because it's like now it's so easy now, like to, in so many ways, to, you have to find some kind of way to stand out in a crowd of millions now. It seems like everybody wants to be a rapper or a singer now, and it's good quality music is not. I don't think it's at the forefront anymore. It's like it's more of a cash cow now than it's ever been. But you really have to formulate what you do in a unique way. And even with that being said, it's still hard, because you have to, you know, swim your way through the waves of what is currently being played on a lot of mainstream radio right now. Because you have to, I've noticed now with a lot of radio stations, they have certain days where they have throwbacks that probably aren't even, wouldn't even consider throwbacks. I don't consider the early 2000s to be I mean, it's a throwback, but yeah, I don't consider it to be a throwback. But they have dedicated days now where they just play, you know, that old Nelly, that old Destiny's Child, and whatnot. And it's crazy the way the algorithm for everything has changed. Like, you can't even. I remember promoting my music back then, and you posted to Facebook, and everybody would see it. You know, so you didn't have to pay for pay for advertisement, which I have done. Even on Instagram, I've done that, and on Twitter too, I've done it. You didn't have to pay for it. It was just you put it out there. You keep promoting it. Post 3 or 4 times a day. It might got maybe in one day probably like 200 not shares, 200 views or something like that, and you could actually see what you were doing, because it not saying that you can't do it now, but the difference now is it's like you won't see that unless you actually not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but you won't see that rise in your plays or your views unless you're putting hundreds of dollars into your product. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing that, period, but it's just it takes away from what I think should be. I called it excuse me, I've always called it free promotion. I mean, you got a profile, you should be able to share it to whoever you want to. Now it's set up so that people can choose what they want to see. If they don't want to see this, if they don't like this, if they don't like that. Again, not saying anything is wrong with it, but I think what it does is it weeds out what you would potentially be interested in. You know, It's like when you watch a YouTube video, and let's say you go shopping on Amazon, and before the YouTube video plays, it shows it plays a little commercial for something that you just bought off of Amazon. It's like it takes, everything is taking your data and shifting it over to YouTube, showing you what you might be interested in, but it's also giving you something else. And I feel that, I don't know, I don't know, it's crazy. I don't even know.
It's a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
No, you did perfectly, because it's a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways, because you do need it, but also on the flip side, you are suffering because there's a lot of hands in the pot, so to speak. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you try to get a feel around that pot, you can't feel the bottom of it, because there's every other hand that's in there that's actually distracting you from getting what you feel like you deserve. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that's real truth. WSL, a.k.a. WillSexyLove, is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Branded Denia in the house. Follow Will on Instagram, on Twitter as well.
all social media platforms. WillSexyLove is locked in. Denia, go ahead and ask Will a question, because I can ask that man like 500 questions all at once as we go through. But go ahead, ask him a question.
I actually wanted to piggyback off of what he just said when it comes to radio and artists, because I think it's so crazy now because everybody has a podcast. Everybody has a radio personality. So it's really hard. So how do you determine what shows that you feature? How do you determine what stations that you want to network with? I think that's a better question. Like, how do you know what quality stations are there? How do you know that, like, it's not just like some random kid that wants to play music or whatever and call us on a podcast? What do you do to research to know that you're putting your music in the right market?
Oh, I research everything. I can tell you that right off the bat. I research everything. For me, they have to have a following. Like they have to been doing it for a while, and they have to have a solid fan base. Now, they don't have to have millions of listeners, but if they're solid in what they're doing and they are consistent in what they're doing, I gravitate more to that than anything, because it shows that they're proud of what they're doing. They have a real plan for what they want to do, and that they have a target market and who they're trying to reach, and who they want to kind of help brand or help bring out. And the quality of what they're doing is also what I look into. If this was like a couple of weeks ago, I came across another radio station, internet radio station in ATL. They had hit me up, saying that they wanted to work. So me, as being me, like I research everything. I want to know when you first started, what was your first show like, who have you interviewed, and this, and this, that, and the third. And I follow a lot of people, and I'm never not on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I'm always on one or the other, like probably for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day. Just scrolling down the news feed, checking out these other profiles, because where you put your music, where you put your clothes, your clothing brand, your magazine, your book, where you plug it in at is important. And you want to make sure that when you do branch out and you are reaching out, you are touching out to the right people. So it's a number of things for me, but consistency and the target market and how long they've been doing it and how they do it, how professional they are and how they've grown. If I can see their growth from when they began to now, and they've grown from when they started to this point now that we're talking in 2020, that'll get me, they'll pique my interest more than anything.
Right.
But you
think
can't
that's important too,
because
Because I think, 13 years of doing this, and, there's always been proverbial ups and downs. Denia's been around 8-9 years of that. Will, you've been around pretty much the whole 13. There's always a, I guess you could say, struggle with evolution. How do you evolve it? How do you turn it into something else? And, Denia knows this, and Will, you're going to get caught up to speed on this. Like, I have to graduate from where I started to where it's going. That's why 2021, as far as, I pulled all my content out of Blog Talk just so I can be able to kind of form my own network. And that's going to happen with this being tied into music. I want the same thing to happen to music. Like, I don't want everybody to just say, hey, you know what, I got to go on the morning show or the Breakfast Club or, the mainstream ones. If you do that, fine, you could do that. But also there's other places that is passionate about next level of music, that's passionate about next level of entertainment, that's passionate about that next opportunity that a person is going to get based on, the growth of, the new growth of their product. And I think it's important, like, everybody is trying to be Cardi B, but you can't.
You got to be you. Everybody wants to be somebody else, but you can't. You got to be you, and you got to form. Like Cardi B, in my opinion, what she did to market herself, she hit the lotto, because not too many people are going to have that opportunity to do what she did and how she did it. So, that's it. Trust me, I love beautiful women. I love the way they look, but I swear to God, every ass video is not attractive to me anymore. It's just not. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, or maybe it's because the brand is different. It's just like every ass now looks the same. You know what I mean? And to me, it's just a matter of just trying to get people that is in your circle that has a passion for what you do, and then you grow from there. Because Dawn made this point, and she either said it to me in denial, or she said it in conversation. Not every interview is going to be a good interview. It's just like every opportunity, all money is not good money. All interviews are not good interviews.
True that.
And I think the important thing that we take from it is to be like, okay, where can I be able to get it? Do they go hard for me like I go for myself? If they ain't doing that, then maybe I need to change up. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's different as far as how the game is marketed, but also I feel like there is more of a need for community relief, meaning, it takes that village to understand what that village needs, so that circle of trust is going to continue to widen if we have more like individuals like us, you know what I mean? So, I just want to throw that in there. WillSexyLove is my guest, Nexxlegacy Radio. I am branded, Denia in the house. I'm going to run Dreamland because I know it's out on platforms, Spotify, it's out on Amazon Music. Why'd you choose Dreamland to be the one to put out there for the people?
Also, my LP is coming out next year. The songs that I have for it. It's one of my personal favorites off the entire EP. One reason is because a few reasons. But one of them is because I feel like it shows my growth as an artist, as a songwriter, and as an artist, both as a songwriter and as vocally. It shows me stepping out of the box a little bit, coming out of my comfort zone to try to be more. Be more, I don't know the right word to say. Anyway, it's diverse. I think it should. Diverse. To be more diverse with my vocals. Yes, thank you. I think this track that it just shows for anybody who's followed me. I think it shows how I've grown as an artist, as a person, as an individual. And it shows what I'm capable of and where I want to go.
Amen to that. We're going to run Dreamland right here on Nexxlegacy Radio. Denia and I are going to come back. We're going to ask Will a couple more questions surrounding not just his art, but also, music ownership. Because there's something I want to bring up to Will that I think, he already knows. But, just from doing a little research on certain things, it's just a trip how now full ownership of your music is very important for what you want to do later in life and how you want to leave that music for your kids and stuff like that. But we're going to play Dreamland. We're going to come right back. We're going to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, the R&B dragon that is WillSexyLove right here on Nexxlegacy. Nexxlegacy Radio, I am branded, Denia in the building with my guest, WSL, a.k.a. WillSexyLove. Dreamland's available, Spotify, Amazon Music. Go ahead and go check it. Make sure you go ahead and follow my man on IG, Instagram, social media, all things WillSexyLove. So, Will, Dreamland drops, and I see where you're going with it as far as I think I told you this too because I heard it before it was released anyways, but, compared to you, because, when we met, it was, you were pushing 19, right? 19, almost 20, something like that or whatever, like close to it. So
yeah.
What I'm hearing is like pure growth from, where you were back then compared to where you were now. Dreamland is catchy for this reason. I still feel like people need
monogamy in their life. I don't care how old you are. If you're in your, teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. So, Dreamland is like another little institution of letting people know that, you could take monogamy into Dreamland, right?
Yeah.
See how I get down, Will? See what I do?
Bro, wait, what?
Take my dog will be at the
That's like a nice little
commercial
commercial for Will right there. That's a nice commercial for real. Will, straight up though, like for real. Like, and that's all the top of my head, man. I just come up with this stuff. I don't write nothing down, dude. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you. Take monogamy into Dreamland, huh?
Hey.
You know where your head is, and you know where you going.
Right, but I mean, was that the basis? Not just you having strong confidence in that track, but the fact that if you look at things nowadays, I mean, it's a lot of the player songs is redundant, right? In a lot of ways.
Yeah, right. It is talking about the same old thing over and over again. I think you do have to kind of switch it up every now and then versus saying the same old thing. I mean, how many times can you rap about? Can you rap or sing about getting cuckoo or slinging that thing? And, you know.
Right. No,
so
that's important. I feel like. No, go ahead, Will.
You have to do it differently. It's like now it's like nothing's left to the imagination. I think I've said this before. Like you have to leave something to the imagination because it's still a creative force that you're working with. So if you come right out and you say, oh well, this is what we're going to do, and then you talk about that the entire time, it takes away for me from the song or the track or whatever you might call it. It's like you said, it's redundant. It's like, okay, you said this out right in the first verse. Now what we going to talk about in the second verse? Oh, it's the same thing you said in the second verse, just a different way. I mean, it's the same thing you said in the first verse, just a different way. Then we get your third verse, and everything is just regurgitated and repeated. And when it should be, as a songwriter anyway, it should build up constantly through each verse. Hit the chorus, and you build up from the first verse to the second verse, from the second verse to the third to the hook, and whatever, and so and so on and so forth. But I don't know. I guess nowadays everybody wants everything fast and loud, and I want you to tell me exactly what you want right now. Right now. Tell me what you want right now, and I'm gonna give it to you the way you want it right now. And the thing that kind of gets me with that is because like you can't even learn your partner like that. You know what I'm saying? So it takes time for you to get comfortable with whoever you're with. And first off, man, like we're old enough, you didn't have plenty of sexual experiences. Man, that first time sometimes is not the best round. Let's face it. So
that's true.
Again, trying to make it seem like that first night is always going to be that first night where I'm going to put it down, I'm going to wear that at. I'm going to do this, man. I'm going to show you what man, it does not work like that, and it's not like that all the time. So to hear us, to continuously or to have those songs continuously on repeat is like, okay, we can tell that you're not as exciting as you claim to be. But anyway, to each his own.
Exactly.
First off, I'm a virgin, so I don't know how that works. So hey, to each his own. I'm just playing. But you talked about on the other side before we played Dreamland that you got a project. So what is this project? What can we expect to hear from it? And before you even answer that question, I want to add on to something too with Dreamland. It again, because I know you, it actually enhances your diversity as far as different sounds, because every song doesn't have a specific trademark WillSexyLove sound. You have multiple different styles about each song, which tells a different experience, which makes it genuine. And we'll go through a couple of tracks that I feel like, we should really appreciate and pay attention. But Project, what's going on with that, bro?
Finally, I will be releasing my first full-length or LP project next year, 2020. Right now, it's hovering around 5 songs. I might add on 2, but basically, along with the Dreamland, the songs that will be featured on the EP are songs that that have been recorded and I've had sitting around. Brandon's probably heard them like a million times. I've probably emailed them like, yo, I want to do this. I want to put this out. I want to put this together on the track. And I've had these songs recorded for more than 5 years. So they're like 5 years old. And I feel that a way for me to get myself out there is I have to get this stuff out so that my future projects, you can listen to this, and then when the new project comes out, you'll be like, oh, wait, WillSexyLove had this out. Let's go see what he's doing now, what he sounds like now. But anyway, it's titled The Will Sexy Experience because I'm trying to take you on a ride, on a journey with me musically. And I hope that you will enjoy it and that you'll like it, and I know you will. So get ready for the WillSexyLove, the Will Sexy Experience LP coming out next year. I did have a date, but I kind of pushed it off because I have different things that I want to do and different ways I want to kind of put it out there and promote it and whatnot. So as of right now, release date is not set, but the Will Sexy Experience is coming next year, baby. You better be ready for it because I want to give you an experience, the Will Sexy Experience. Huh? Are you ready?
Hey.
Are you ready?
Hey.
Did I hear you?
Hey, that's what she.
Huh?
That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said.
It's a good way for me to introduce myself to new fans.
Hey, and that's important. And what's dope is the fact that you do have such a plethora of older songs that you could be able to introduce to the newer fan base, to the fan base that has listened to you over the years, as far as not just being on this show, but just elsewhere in general, or just listen to it via SoundClouds or whatnot. Are you going to actually have like any video treatment for any of these, or
yes,
all of these?
Yes.
If you got 5, are you going to have 5 videos?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I got to take y'all back a little bit for talking about the Will Sexy Experience. Brandon, as you know, the SoundCloud page that I have now is not my original SoundCloud page. I deleted my original SoundCloud page about 5 years ago because I was upset in my feelings about certain things, and I had a lot going on in my personal life. But music-wise, I felt that at the time the people I was working with, I felt they weren't listening to me because I had a lot of good ideas on wanting to do things and promote the music, and basically with some of the people that were in my circle, they had other ideas, and I feel like I made a huge mistake when I deleted my original SoundCloud page. Once the video came out, I was supposed to do Makeup Sex immediately after that. Brandon, you know that already. And
yeah, that was a favorite.
At that point in time, yeah, everybody loves Makeup Sex. I made a mistake, and I really do regret it. I really do. I wish that I never did it. I wish I would have called somebody and got off my chest how I felt at the time. I didn't do that until probably about 2 years after the fact, actually talking to the people that were in my camp about how I felt at the time. But I feel like I bowed out at a time when I was really starting to get noticed. And I cannot say it enough, but I really regret doing that. My page I didn't have any songs on my page that had under 1,000 plays at that point in time. Even when the Want You video came out, some of my songs had peaked 30,000 plays and more.
Wow.
Total altogether, I had probably about I think about 80,000 plays altogether. Yeah, and that right. That's, you say, oh my goodness. I'm saying that right, to myself as I'm talking about it. That was a lot looking back on it. But I felt at the time, and then it's again, it's a lot that goes into it, because when you're searching for people to work with and you're trying to work with people, Brandon, I mean, you've had this conversation plenty of times. You're trying to work with people who are local, who you think are great, and it's like you kind of put them on a pedestal and they ignore you, and that's kind of what fed into it too. And I looking back on everything, I just wish that the frame of mind that I have now, I wish I had it then, so that I would have known better than to do that to myself, to strip myself of everything that I worked for. Because I worked hard for those plays that I had. I really did. I worked hard for them. And for me to get in my feelings, because at the time, because I felt that I wasn't being looked at in the local circumference the way that I should have been. I wasn't getting the props that I should have been. I feel that was stupid, because my stage, like, a lot of people, they get upset with me when I say this. I don't now. If you talk to me about the local scene, I care about it, but I don't care about it as much as I used to. And the reason is because I don't just want to be local. I want to be worldwide. And if people are rocking, if people are listening to my music over in Europe, over in California, in Georgia, that's what I want. And I don't, like, again, like, I that's something I really regret. I really regret doing that, because the original Will Sexy experience, even though it wasn't called that back then, this is going into the music video, leading into what me answering the question you just asked me, Brandon. What I was originally going to do, I originally had it planned out so that each video, it would be like a short movie. If you played all the videos back to back, it would be like a short movie. Want You would lead into Make Up Sex would lead into the song that came after that. Whether it would have been a third or fourth single, I don't know, but it would have played out like everything coincided together. Like it was a real project. Like it was telling a story through different music videos and through different songs, but using the same main character, myself. And at the time, the model I was using, her name was Lovely Red Roberts. And it would have been, again, it would have been like a mini movie. I would have done something unique and different, which is what I was going for. But, not to keep dwelling on the past. Now, moving forward, going into this new project, I am currently in the process of working the treatment out now for Dreamland. So we still have a ways to go before that is actually done and complete. That probably won't come out till the video probably won't be out until February, because I'm still trying to work in that same idea that I had more than 7 years ago with Want You. I'm trying to work that into this Will Sexy experience project that I have. So how many videos there will be, I don't know. Right now, I would love to do a music video for all of them. But that's still up in the air right now. I know right off the cuff, I can tell you that there will be 3 music videos for it, for the Will Sexy experience, but it will be in the same vein as what I wanted to do with the Want You project that I was going to put out 7 years ago.
Right. So in Dreamland, can you just make it like, my only request as far as videos is clouds, a bed, and a girl. That's my only 3 requests. Be on Dreamland. WillSexyLove is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. Denai and I are listen, I'm going to run Persuasion. I'm going to come back. I want to talk to you about your art, because your art needs to be discussed, because we need to talk about
we need to talk about what you're going to do with it and how you can be able to correlate that into your music. So, Persuasion, come right back. Denia and I are going to talk to you about the art of Will. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Branded in the building with Denia with our guests. WSL, a.k.a. WillSexyLove. Persuasion is another favorite. I hope you don't mind in a little while, Will. I'm going to leak a couple of minutes on a track that I got to explain to you why I'm going to do it, because it's technically not out there, but I just really want you to know how I feel about the track. So it's one of yours, obviously, but I gotta give you a story behind it. But before we do,
okay.
You are an artist, not just a music artist, but you are an art artist.
Correct.
So I want people to understand and know, and people that actually is out there, follow my man WillSexyLove on IG and all social media, but also on Instagram. Make sure you follow the Art of Will on Instagram and tap in. Get used to the art that's displayed. So you've been doing art for a long time. So I want people to just not get to know you just because of the music, but also the art. When did you start drawing and stuff like that? And also, how are you going to correlate that into what you do as a music artist?
I've been drawing, as I say, all my life. My dad was an artist, so it's a gene handed down. I got into drawing comics or my art style basically from my dad and reading his comic books. And how I started off drawing, I would try to redraw a comic book page, and then that turned into me doing my own little comics and whatnot and all that good stuff. Yeah, I've always been an artist. It's been one of that's my first love is drawing. Like between music, songwriting, and art, those are the two main things that I absolutely love doing. Especially if I'm kind of in a mood one day or I'm upset about something. Like the art really kind of helps me relieve some of that stress through the pencil or the pen.
Right.
Here within the past couple of years, I've just started to come out more with it. Basically, at home in my hometown, on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. I'm either known because of my art or my singing or kickboxing, but it's mainly the first two is art and singing. Some people don't know I do both. So there's some people who know I do art but don't know I sing, and there's some people who know I sing but don't know I can draw. I've always had wanted to produce and be able to draw my own comics. A couple of years ago, well, this was not a couple of years ago, many years ago, I was in high school then. I think I was just going into high school. Image Comics is an independent comics publisher, which means that they take something that you create. Brandon can create a comic, a superhero right now, and call them Nexxlegacy. Let's just use that. And he has a full-blown idea. He has the comic drawn, and he ships it off to Image Comics, and they read the submission. They either green-light it or pass on it. So they green-light it. Image Comics publishes it. That's what they are. They're an independent comics publisher. They publish your work. Couple of years ago, back when I was in high school, they had this competition out where they were searching for new creator-owned projects. I entered into the competition, but I would have gotten picked from talking to the guy on the phone that was in charge of it. I think his name was Mike Richardson, who was in charge of Image Comics at the time. He had told me on the phone because I hadn't heard anything back. It had been like a month, and I knew it had been past the deadline when they said they were going to choose the people, and I hadn't heard anything. So I called.
Right.
And the guy told me on the phone, he said, well, I do remember you. We liked your work. He said the problem was we couldn't pick you because it was something I didn't do. I had to I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't know if it was because I didn't send I know what it was. I sent in my original artwork, and whenever you submit anything into a company like that, they don't want your original artwork. They want copies of it. So he said that was one reason. That was the main reason why they had to pass on my project, was because I had sent my original art and not photocopies of it. Because if I could have said they could. Excuse me, I'm getting tripped up over my words. Because basically, if they had done something with it, I could have sued them and said they were trying to do something that they weren't, or it could have been a whole lawsuit or whatever, and they were not going to touch it, period, because it was not a photocopy. But he had told me, he said that your work was good, we did like it, but that you would have been one of the runner-ups had you submitted it the way that it was supposed to have been submitted. So, fast forward. Couple of years, everybody in my family knows that at the time I wanted to be a comic book artist. The only reason why I probably could have been, I probably still could be now. I probably could work for DC or Marvel Comics. My artwork is actually that good. The only problem I have is with that, working for companies such as Marvel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Marvel Comics, they produce the Avengers movie series, and the Black Panther and Spider-Man and Blade and all that. DC is Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, or whatever. The problem with working for a company like that is that you never know. Not that you never know, is that you're only working on projects they create. And I never want to work on something that somebody else created. That's always been a pet peeve of mine, my biggest problem. I've always wanted to work on my own creations and not somebody else's. So the art kind of took a backseat because I wanted to publish it. I just didn't know how. I wanted to create my own comic series. I knew how to do it. I just didn't know how to publish it. I wanted to publish it on my own. I wanted to start my own company and all this and that. So 3 years ago, I created a comic book titled We Are Pop Stars, and this actually goes into the music. We Are Pop Stars is basically a comic book about, by the way, I'm not the main character. If that's what you're waiting for me to say, I'm not going to say it. I am a character in the comic book. WillSexyLove himself is a character in the comic book, but he's not the main character. But We Are Pop Stars is basically a comic book about a girl group from Virginia trying to make it in the music industry. On the flip side, they have superpowers, and they are, being that if you're in the entertainment industry or you're in music, you know how it is, you know the dark side of it. Even if you're not famous, you still experience it in some kind of way. So basically, the premise of the story is that vampires are trying to take over the world. They're trying to take us back to the dark ages so that they can rule the world. And the characters, We Are Pop Stars, that's actually the name of the girl group in the comic. They have to not only fight for their fame, but they are fighting to save humanity. And my character comes in because, again, it's I have to do it. I'm the all powerful in my comic universe. There's no superhero. I have my equals in the comic book realm, but there is no superhero in my universe that is more powerful than WillSexyLove. But anyway, so 3 years ago I self-published my own comic titled We Are Pop Stars, and that is what really got me more on Instagram and Facebook, and having a platform for that was because I wanted to find a way to kind of bridge my art and the music together, but I don't want to be one of those kind of artists where everything I do is my comic or my art is a basic imitation of my music. I don't want that. I want each entity to be its own thing. I want my music to be its own thing, and I want my art to be its own thing, but I want them all to be connected. And that We Are Pop Stars is what, for me, is what really bridges that gap for the music and the art. Now, have I been told that I should do artwork for my music? Yes. Have I done it? No. because there's so much of me that people haven't seen that I feel like if my art if it intersects too much into my music, it'll take too much away from WillSexyLove as a person. That's my own opinion. You might disagree with me. That's just how I feel about it. But
no, it's just like that's just like a mechanic. That's just like a mechanic not working on their car. They'll get somebody else to work on their car because it's just the way that some people feel about it. Like, you know, if I'm a mechanic and, you know, it's just something about not working I don't want to work on my car. I'll get somebody else to do it. Even though you know how to do it, you just don't do it. But I see your point, though.
Right. So, but if you notice on my Instagram account, though, my art style is mainly more pinup girly, stylish art. That's what I'm into. And and for me, I'm into that because it took me the longest time to learn how to draw a boobie and a woman's butt. Like, it really did. It took me the longest time. And when I finally learned how to draw the boobie and the butt right, I hit the ground running, and I did not stop. So most of my art that I post on Instagram, to my Instagram, is mainly pinup art. But I do draw other things. I just don't post it. But if you're interested in seeing my art, you can find me on Instagram, or you can just Google WillSexyLove, and the art of Will will still pop up. But the art of Will is TheArteOfWill, the art of Will, and just go follow me. I do post some of my art to my my main Instagram, my WillSexyLove Instagram account, but that's few far and in between. Again, I don't want to oversaturate my music with the artwork. I want you to know that I can do it, but I don't want it to bombard, my music fans with the art, because I want you to be interested in the art, but I want you to be more interested in the music. I want you to be interested in the music and more interested in the art at the same time. So the art of Will is it's its own thing, just like the music is its own thing. But I still have to bridge both of them together so that people know that I do draw and I am into comics and I am a comic nerd, and I love everything about pinup art style, because you can draw whatever you want, how you want it, any kind of position,
perfect
positions, cute pinup positions, and all that good stuff. And I hope I answered your question. I have a tendency to ramble.
No, you did. You did. No, that's cool because like I said, I've seen your art over the years, and I remember we were talking about the pop star situation or whatnot. And just being, a lot of it is kind of tied to music in a lot of ways. I mean, there's just like a lot of art or, comic industry stuff that you got to look out for. Same thing on the music side or whatever. It's always good to be able to get as much game as you can in regards to it. So, just kind of knowing that is always good. So that's a good look. WillSexyLove's my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. Denia and I are in the building. Make sure you go ahead and go on Will's Instagram at WillSexyLove. Add yourself to it. Dreamland is available to Spotify, Amazon Music. Check all social media networks in regards to its release. Listen to the music. If you're in your car and you got Spotify, all you got to do is Google WillSexyLove Dreamland. Bam, right there. Same thing, Amazon Music. If you got it and you can be able to listen to it in your ride, bam, you got it right there. I think I remember there was a point in time, I don't know when this was, maybe a couple of months ago, maybe longer. There was one particular song I had on the CD that I was like, you know what, I got to tell Will I'm listening to this on my drive, because I had a long drive.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, I gotta play this song. This song is dope as shit. And I was like, man, you gotta know that this song, I seen that in the car, like I'm pretending to sing, Do you know how far I would go? That song.
Oh yeah.
Do you know?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember you telling me. Yeah.
Champion. I'm gonna run that for the people. I'm gonna leak it right here. Will might kick my ass, but I'm gonna leak it right here. But I'm gonna talk to him about it after we play this song. Before we get ready to wrap up on Next Legacy Radio, Denying the Building, I am Brandon Will. All the listeners out there listening, appreciate it as well, live listeners for sure. They're loving the interview because they love when they hear good game. But this one is definitely one of my all-time favorites for this reason. I feel like I can sing it while I'm in the car with the music up loud, but also it just gives you a nice drive on a Sunday morning or whatever. It just kind of makes you feel like, you know what, all is right with the world. So Do You Know right here by my man WillSexyLove on Next Legacy. One of those new classics from my man WSL, a.k.a. WillSexyLove. I am Branded, Denying the Building. Favorite song? Because, like I said earlier, it's drive time. It just makes a person feel a certain way.
Yeah,
like I said, I feel like I can sing that song, even though I can't sing like my man Will. But at least I try, especially when I'm in the car by myself. It's like when you take a shower, you feel like you can sing, but you know, god awful, can't sing whatsoever. But at least I try. So but it just, I mean, that song right there. I remember when you did the video for Want You. I remember seeing it for the first time, and like I said, I got history with you because you're like family. So, you know, seeing it is just kind of like, man, it's just hella emotional to see where you were at 1920 to where you're at now, 10, 11, 12 years later, and to see that evolution and what you do is just, you know, it's dope. So when I listen to a lot of your music, that's why I'm like, Will, put this out, man. This is a hit, bro. Like, this is a hit. You can't go wrong with this, bro. Like, you know, I'm excited because I know, like, the best is still yet to come with everything that you're doing and stuff. So I'm like, man, there's a whole lot of songs that that I listen to, that I just appreciate the vocal talent, and not only that, just appreciate the memories, because attached to that, there's like a lot more stuff over the years that I remember listening to. It's just like, man, I just appreciate it full force. So, you know, like I said, I'm looking forward to what 2021 has in store for you. Looking forward to not just the music, but everything else that you're evolving in and who you are and stuff like that. And it's just dope to just be able to see it all come, you know. And like I said, I'm lobbying for, like, if you got 5 songs off the Will Sexy experience, I mean, listen, I want 5 videos. And if I don't get 5 videos, I'm going to be a fan upset. I'm just playing, but I'm just saying.
A fan upset.
I'm gonna be hella mad. I'm gonna be like, damn it, Will, what's going on here? Like, nah, but I'm just playing. But nah, seriously though, like I'm looking forward to it. So, you know, you got a lot of people that's listening now that you know, they know you based on history. You know, every time that we do anything Next Legacy over the years, they know, you know, Will, Philly, you know, Baby Girl, you know, all the people out there that's listening live or whatever, like, but yeah, new fans, the people that's tuning in to you for the very, very first time, what do you want to tell them about not just who you are, but what you're expecting to do with your God-given talent in the near future, not just projects?
I'm expecting to be as big as Cardi B. My butt won't be as big. Hey, and I want to welcome everybody new to the world of WillSexyLove. Just hold on. Will is coming. You'll get to experience. You'll get to experience me full force in 2021. I have plans for 2021. Like big plans, as big as this COVID-19 will allow. So don't rule me out just yet. What you're hearing is not the last. You want more from me, you will get it. I plan to release 2 projects, 2 LPs next year. But let's keep it with the Will Sexy experience right now. That will be followed up by another LP later on in the year. And I just want you guys to know that, you will grow to love me if you don't already, because I am the Will.
That's what's up. Nah, listen, I'm definitely. Yo, what's up?
I don't know if you're gonna play it or not, but I have an interesting story to go along with Want You. we've been talking about that music video. I have a very interesting story to go along with that. If you want to hear,
tell it.
Okay.
Tell it. Because we'll close the show with Want You, but tell the story. I want to know now because I thought I knew everything about that. So please tell.
I might have told you. You probably do know about it. If I did, you'll remember it when I start talking about it. Okay. So to everybody that's listening, this is Dreamland is my follow up to Want You. Came out 7 years ago. I know it's a long follow up. I know. Interesting story though. Again, you have to remember I think I was at my peak. I think I was starting to get noticed at that point in time. We've already talked about me deleting my original SoundCloud page with my original song plays. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time when Want You came out, when I put the single out, someone had solicited me to help them get their song on iTunes and whatnot to promote something they did. They were doing it for a church, but the song they were trying to promote was not a church song. It was something that they had recorded years before. So, and it was for the church to help them raise money. He thought it was a good way to help them raise money. I thought it was a good idea too. I liked the song and everything. But, and this is one thing that anybody who knows me that you will learn about me is I'm religious, but I'm not a Bible thumper. I hate Bible thumpers. They get on my nerves. And not hate, dislike. I have a strong dislike for Bible thumpers. I grew up in church. I know about God and whatever. But my beliefs sort of teeter off a little bit from what everybody else believes. I do believe there's a God and all this, that, and the third. But anyway, so he had never heard the song, right? He had heard bits and pieces of it. He'd never heard the track in its entirety. This guy, who will remain nameless, he had inquired me to, again, help him put his song on iTunes, and I obliged. During the time that I was helping him prepare everything, get everything ready to distribute the song, get it out there, not just on iTunes, on other music platforms too. Again, you have to remember he was a church guy. Every time I got on the phone with this guy, the conversation always went as this. Oh, I don't think you're doing what God meant for you to do. You're singing that secular music. And I remember now. And I don't think that secular music is for you. And I think God sent me to you to put you on the right path. And I let him talk and whatever, because again, if you know me, I'm one to let people talk, and I'll just keep my thoughts to myself because you're telling me about yourself through conversation, through you talking. I'm learning about you. And that's one thing that you will find that's very interesting about me. I listen a lot more than I talk. So anyway, he kept talking, kept saying the same thing over and over again. And make a long story short, so we were on the phone one night. And this is right after I had uploaded his song to TuneCore to get it distributed to iTunes. That same night, I'm on the phone talking to him, and he asked me, he says he kind of got in his feelings because I told him, I said, I don't think that your God sent you to me to deter me or to put me on a different career path. He said, why? I said, because I know if I know God the way I think I do, and if he knows me the way I think he does, and he knows all about me, the movie I'm going to make and everything, he knows it's going to take a lot more than you to convince me that I'm not doing what I'm meant to do. He got offended by that. He asked me, he said, this is the question he asked me, he said, would you let God or Jesus hear your music? I said, hell yeah, let him hear. I wish you had an email right now so I can send it to him. I'll be like, what you think of this one? Did I sing this right? Did I hit that note right? I know I didn't do that kind of right, but can you tell me what I can do to make that better? What do you think of everything I've done? So he tells me on the phone, he got so offended. He says to me, he says, are you serious? I'm like, hell yeah. Like, do you think if I seriously had his email, do you really think that I would not send it to him? So he says, you would really let God or Jesus hear your music, hear the kind of music you make? I said, yeah. I said, but what kind of music do I make? You know, I asked him twice. I said, "What kind of music do I make?" I said, "Have you even heard anything that I put out?" He says, "I don't have to. I know that it sucks the music, and that's not good music." I said, "That is a bald-faced lie." I said, "You know, that's one thing that gets me with people. Just because I do R&B, it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean that I'm putting out explicit content. You know, I believe that he gave us the right to express ourselves, and there are many forms and different ways that we can express ourselves through our feelings." So he says to me, he says, I don't believe that you would let God hear your music. I would be afraid and ashamed. I would have to tell him that I did something else. And I said, so you're telling me, and hear this and listen to me through everything I'm saying, because there's a point, and I want to make a point after I finish telling this story. So, again, he says, if I were you, I wouldn't let God or Jesus hear anything that I do, that you do, because it's bad. He wouldn't like that. Oh, okay, so you're suggesting that I lie. He's like, no, yes, you are. You're suggesting that I lie to an omnipotent, omniscient, and the spiritual guidance and all-powerful force that knows my every move and everything I'm doing. You want me to actually send myself on a one-way train to hell by lying to him when he already knows what I do. I said, I can't believe you. And you're a Christian. You suggested I lie to the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I don't believe that. He sat on the phone quiet for about 2 minutes, not lying. That's how long the silence was, and I had to keep checking the phone from my ear to make sure that he didn't hang up on me. So then when he finally gathered himself, he says to me, he says, well, you know what? I think you're right. I don't think he brought me to you to put you on the right path, because you're just not somebody that's going to change. I said, no, I'm just not somebody that you can change into what you want to change. And I said, my faith and my belief system, I believe in the same God you believe in, and I believe in the same things that you believe in, but how we go about them are two different things. And that leads me to what I'm about to say now, and how I found my confidence in myself. I had to stop listening to other people tell me what I should do or how I should be living my life. Everything you do is not for everybody. Everybody is not going to like everything you do. The point of it is being that you are living your life for you. You cannot let other people's opinions interfere into your dreams and what you want to do with your life. Because I say that because, I don't know, maybe he does have a point. Maybe there is something else that I'm supposed to do with my life, but maybe this is the road I'm supposed to take to get me to the path that I'm supposed to be on. Now, I don't feel like I should sit back and be twiddling my fingers and wake up every day going to a job that I hate, making somebody else money, when I know that I could be doing a lot more than getting up every day, going to a 9 to 5, barely making it by, barely paying my bills, trying to do something, trying to have a career, trying to put myself out there, not just doing this for the sake of making music. I don't do music for the sake of making music. I do music because I love it. I love the feeling that I get when I'm listening to a song that hits the right chords in your heart and makes you get up and dance, that touches on something that you've been through in your own life, whether it's a breakup or you've been through a bad relationship, whether you're happy, sad, glad, in between, whatever. That's what music does to whoever is listening, and we all interpreted music in different ways. So I can't sit here and honestly say that I just sit here and listen to gospel music, because what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of those gospel singers, they've probably done worse shit than you will ever do in your life, and they're still singing songs to God. So I can't sit here and condone what someone else is doing with their life if they're chasing their dream. You gotta do what you do for you, and fuck what everybody else says. I don't care who it is. Do what you do for you. That was a big mistake that I made earlier on in my career, but it's not a mistake I will make ever again for anybody. You know what you want to do. You know what's in your heart. You know how you know what you want to achieve. You have to, in order for you to achieve anything, you have to first make that first step. And that first step is always the hardest to make. But once you make it and you get going and you start seeing results, you got to keep going to get to where you want to be. Don't let any and everybody deter you or take you off your path. Why let one idiot or two be in your ear, one be in your left ear and one be in your right, tell you that you're not walking the path that you're on, when they're not walking the path that they're supposed to be on? That's the blind leading the blind, ain't it? One clown trying to tell another clown how to live their life, and they're not living their life right. Everybody's in business but their own. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take anything from this conversation, from this interview, to anybody that's listening, to us on the line right now, take what I just said into consideration and just think about it and just do what you want to do. You never know what can happen, what you can achieve. As long as you take that first step, you make that move, and you stay steadfast to what you want and why you want it. It does not matter what other people think. It really does not.
Exactly.
Do you follow and chase your dreams? You'll stumble and fall, get back up, keep going. My grandma Margie used to always tell me years ago, my grandma Margie used to always tell me, nothing beats a failure but a person who tries. And I never understood what she meant when she said that until I asked her. And she said, I say that, I'm telling you that, Junior, because I'm named after my dad, and everybody in my family calls me Junior. She said, I'm telling you that, Junior, because you want to do so much. And she said, you're going to fail more times than you will succeed. But it's in those failures, where you will find your strength. As long as you keep getting up and you keep going, nothing beats a failure but a person who tries. As long as you're trying, you're really not failing. It's just a win that you haven't gotten yet.
That's right.
So, again, I thank you for the time to interviewing me and welcoming me back to the music. I've been on a hiatus for so long. I felt like I aged out, that nobody wanted to hear me. But like I said, man, it's I have a passion for this. It's something that interests. I wake up every day with wanting to sing, with a song in mind, wanting to write, and all this, all that good stuff and everything. And will I become that famous person that I want to become? I will. Will it be with music? I hope so. I really want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's with other things that if it's in my destiny and my purpose and my walk on faith and my walk in life that guides me to do other things, then so be it. But I want you to know me first through WillSexyLove, the R&B Dragon.
That's still an extension to everything that you do with what you be about. So, if you're gonna make your millions and your billions by art, music, and anything else, that's just gonna be the extension of your grind and what you're building when you create that legacy that nobody can ever take away from you. So, that in itself is a win, no matter how the journey's gonna go. So, not only do I appreciate you for coming back to Nexxlegacy and coming back to radio, to music, but also we're gonna keep pushing that lane, to enhance other people to be like, yo, you got to go in Will's direction, because he got something inspiring going on. So I think that's a blessing in itself. So with that being said, before we take everybody out with Want You, Deny It, give some shout outs and your thoughts before we close it down.
I am excited for new music. Like, OMG. I'm so glad to have you back. You definitely have to call me more often this year. I'm just saying. So yeah, the
I wasn't going to say it, but she did. So there you go, Will.
I was waiting for it.
All these shows, and I haven't heard your voice till now. Like, I'm not understanding these things, but I'm going to give you a pass, because you said you was having issues, whatever, but now you're back. So I'm really excited. I love the artwork. Absolutely beautiful. I was like, okay. And then you explained it, I'm like, okay, I get it. And after I was like, why in the world is it so explicit? Okay, now I get it. Madison, shout out to you for sure. I got to make sure to share Want You. I got to find it on YouTube again, so I can share that on my YouTube page and all that. But you're definitely doing your thing, and I'm really, really incredibly proud of you. So, yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud of you too, Danae. I'm proud of you too. I watch you too. I see a lot of things you do on Facebook and Instagram.
Denai, can you tell people where to find you at as well?
Absolutely. You can find me all over social media at Denaya Azure. That's DANAYAAZURE, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Denaya Designs for You, facebook.com/Denaya Azure Radio, facebook.com/K4S Entertainment, and now facebook.com/Rockstar Studio, because we're doing amazing things over there. But follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just type in Denaya Azure.
Tonight be hustling, so I definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all go ahead and make sure y'all stay tuned. And don't forget, like I said earlier, you know what I'm saying, Legacy Platform Station is going to be in its early launching period. It's going to be a new network that will, encompass and rival, Sirius XM. You'll have more music like Will's. You'll be able to listen to Will's music, some classic interviews that he was a part of. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like Will. I took my masters from Blog Talk and I kept it, and I'm about to put it on my own network. So there you go. There you go. So LPS is going to be launching soon, so make sure y'all go ahead and find out more details. Go to nexxlegacy.com, NEXXLEGACY, and make sure, as I shut it down, shout out to my man WillSexyLove. Follow him on IG, Instagram, all social media platforms. TheArt, TheArtOff, WILL, the art of Will. Make sure. And real quick, hey man, are you still being the super instructor of kickboxing as well? Because you never know. Brand might need protection one day, so I might need to hire you too. You know what I mean? So.
Most definitely. Yes, I teach one-on-one classes at my house now because of the COVID and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. Oh, and by the way, make sure everybody clicks on the link that is on WillSexyLove on Instagram. It has a hot link to the Apple Music, Spotify, Dreamland. Make sure you go ahead and kickstart that and get that because it's important. More views, more listens. It's in your car. Make sure you go ahead and do that. And Will, welcome home, man. But just don't. Your hiatus is you need to not be in a hiatus no more, man. So
Oh, I came out of that officially when Dreamland dropped. So.
There you go.
I'm back officially.
There you go. And we're going to continue to push the line, Will, as we prep and do all things in 2021. I feel like getting out of this pandemic craze and everything that's 2020. I'm looking forward to just like a whole new breath of fresh air in 2021. So that comes with music from Will, everything Denai got going on, and the resurgence of what we do as far as trying to, build a legacy for people. Like, it's just a beautiful thing that's about to go down in 2021. So be prepared. The Will Sexy experience is coming soon. Just like Will said, be warned. That's what she said. On that note, appreciate you, Will.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.